Hey everybody, this is Jordan Clemens. You're listening to They Came From the Underground. All right, I just want to mention a couple things here before we get into it. The first thing being, thank you everybody who put up my episode with my little brother, Jaden Clemens, or Jay Versus, Jayvs. That was a hit over 100 listens. That's really cool. Just thank you guys for checking that one out and then showing your love for him. I can tell you that he definitely appreciates it. And then today our guest is Mike Gettler. He is not on social media, so hard to find, but quite happy. So if you're interested in checking him out, he actually has a show coming up that he is hosting at Mistress Brewing Company in Ankeny. That is hosted by Mike Gettler, featuring Cooper Patterson, Matt Jacobson, Alex Carter, and headliner Sid Jew Walker. So definitely check that out. That's Wednesday, March 4th, 7 to 9:30, 1802 North Ankeny Boulevard, Suite 110. And then as a Mistress Brewing Company, bring the Mistress Comedy Showcase. Check that out. It's a lot of funny dudes, all of which have been in comedy 2 to fucking maybe even 10 times longer than I have, and so and it shows. So they're good dudes. They're all really funny, and they all got stuff going on, and so check them out and go see that show. And I want to give the biggest shout out to Lefty's Live Music and Ann Matthew for letting us record this episode in the bar in the back. That was super cool. Made it really easy for us to get together. So thank you so much for doing that. And then we'll be doing that again with Dan. So they're super cool. Definitely check out Lefty's Live Music. They got all kinds of things going on, from the open mic, which I'm usually at on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. all the way to rap shows, rock concerts, and I think like burlesque shows sometimes, and all kinds of things. So check them out. They're a good melting pot for performance art and all that. So thank you guys for checking the episode out. Again, we got Mike Gettler on the episode. Just follow him in person, but not stalking. Just go see him at shows. He says he is 99% at the Lefties open mic at Lefties Live Music in Des Moines. And so if you want to check him out more often, that's a good place to look for him. So let's go ahead and get into it. I present to you Mike Gettler.
Out of the life and setting the corporate world on its ear. The fuck you gonna do except hustle?
I was forged from iron and filled with the soul of a tyrant giant, hiding deep inside. I'm riding high, got lost the light. It's finding time to snort a line. I smoke the pine, I press rewind. Cause I'ma take them back to when tragedy's all that happened. Used to act like nothing mattered. Ruthless savage, real sporadic, snatching rabbits.
Alrighty, welcome everybody. They Came From the Underground, coming at you from Lefty's Live Music with Mike Gettler. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for meeting me out here to do this, man.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever done you said you've been on podcasts before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Who else have you done? Are they local Des Moines?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh no, I'm on the big ones.
Oh, okay. So you've done like Joe Rogan a few times?
Yeah, a couple. No, I did No Sleep. I did Denny Carmen's and Matt Lamb's.
Right on, man. Yep. That's awesome. And how long have you been doing comedy now?
Coming up on a year next month.
Next month?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. You've been kind of, or have you been? Was it something that you liked for a long time previous, like coming up to it?
Oh yeah, obsessed like my whole lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Were you kind of what kind of lane were you down? Were you kind of watching like Dave Chappelle and like Cat Williams and that sort of thing? Were you kind of on that Jeff Dunham, Gabriel Iglesias?
I think
not to associate it, but like on the lighter side of things. You know?
Yeah. No, Dave Chappelle's. I mean, he's performing up in Ames right now. He's on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Especially like Chappelle's show came out when I was in high school too, so that was like the biggest thing in the world. But like my favorite comic ever was like Zach Galifianakis.
I love Zach Galifianakis. Yeah.
Yeah, he came up like right. I had to go through my dad's basement and I found a VHS with like all of his TV appearances and his Comedy Central special recorded on it because I just had it all.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then I mean, going old school, Gary Shandling. Like I love him. I think the Larry Sanders Show is one of the greatest, probably I mean, it invented all of our modern comedy,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, they've been talking about him even still today. You know, like he was Gary Shandling just as in it.
Yeah, him dying helped
yeah.
get him back in the conversation
Yeah,
for sure.
They really did.
And he's in the MCU universe, which is great for me.
right. Yeah, exactly.
And then like probably present would be like Anthony Jeselnik. So.
Oh, I love Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, so my favorites are all one-liner comics, and I'm
Yeah.
not a one-liner comic. Yeah,
The irony in that, though, like, but
that's a good. That's a good thing. I
That
think,
is a
though.
good thing,
Yeah.
actually. That's actually something that Anthony kind of talks about in. Oh, what was it actually? I think it might have been. It was. I think it was Riffin with Griffin, the Eric Griffin podcast. I think I watched his episode on there, and I think it was there. He said like he can't do like he can't watch David Tell without
he
wanting
can't.
to do David
Yeah,
Tell.
he
but
can't
can
watch like certain comics.
Yeah,
so
but
Ryan
he can-
Hamilton's usually
yeah.
the example he uses. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Like he can watch him.
Yeah,
so-
just people that he knows. There's no chance that they're doing like the same premises
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so influence is a huge thing.
Yeah.
In that aspect. Yeah, it's like when you know who, because obviously if you're it's more easy to fall into doing something that's being done by someone else if you watch too much of that and it's something that you like.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's something
Yeah.
you got to avoid. Yeah. What was initially the thing that got you up on stage to do comedy?
Always
That first
wanted,
time.
always wanted to try it.
Yeah.
But then just never did. Kind of that, like loved comedy, thought I would be pretty good at it, but if you don't try something, you can't fail at it.
Yeah.
And then like December last year, I was just finally like, yeah, fuck it. So I started writing and then went out in February and went up.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome. That's definitely something that I think a lot of people who are interested need to go to an open mic just to see is that like.
Oh, I went up my
Someone-
first time. I
Yeah,
hear a lot of
yeah.
people say they go and just check it out. I didn't.
Right.
I mean, whatever
Right.
there.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me. I brought a table full of friends and shit
Hell yeah.
out here, get some home audience because I mean, it's one thing to get strangers to laugh at you, but just for the confidence, I knew there was a group of people that would find me funny at
Yeah.
least there.
That's actually a good little thing to have.
I did everything the opposite of how most people do it. Most people don't tell anybody. Most people
Right.
keep it a secret, and most people go a couple times to check it out first. But I don't know. I'm kind of
Right.
like once I decide to pull the trigger on something, I fucking
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So
Big time. No, that's
Yeah.
it, and that's honestly a good way to do things. I think because that's it's what it takes to actually start doing shit usually. So that's I was one of those guys who I went once to Mother's Pub just to kind of like scope it and be like,
no,
this
the
is, like,
PPR boys,
the PPR boys,
those
and,
fucks.
the fucks that they are. They treated me like shit.
Yeah,
but,
good.
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 I was kind of asking for it. I went in without pants on.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, that'll
Yeah.
get you.
Yeah, they seemed to be uncomfortable by it. I had recently shaved. I felt like showing off.
Yeah, I felt like showing
but it was a lot of fun. I kind of talked to a couple of the comics when I was there, and they were cool. And so I think that was probably why part of why I was like kind of more confident to come back was because of just talking to them and they were nice.
Yeah, everybody
yeah.
is. I think a lot of people shy away from talk. Like, there's not a single person in this scene that I don't feel comfortable just going up and talking to or texting or calling if I
Yeah.
have a question or need something.
Right. Yeah.
I think sometimes there's just like an intimidation to the people that have been
Right.
around for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
No, definitely. Yeah. Like even like Toll and.
but they're
super.
not
Alex,
Toll.
or
Toll's
I
on
meant-
there.
I meant
Alex.
I meant to say Alex, but
I get that,
I just
but-
had I was thinking about them, and they were first one that came to mind. but
Just
yeah.
don't take visual cues from Alex. He's a very nice guy, and he actually is more than happy to help.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. I kind of get that sense from him. Yeah. He does kind of have that outer layer that seems a little more like it might be
A little more
rougher.
standoffish, yeah.
Yeah. But then you get in there and he's like, oh hey.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Super
like-
nice guy.
Yeah, he actually is pretty nice. Yeah, and that's and AJ was something that he said when I was talking to him yesterday that Alex can be kind of can be hard to get into his circle.
Yeah.
But once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And so it was like that
Makes
kind of
sense.
says a lot. Yeah. But at the same time, that's actually a big perk I think of having the podcast because I get to bring in the people, and then we can have like a intimate conversation. We can kind of talk, and then then like later on, it's like we've already had that, and so we're all good for
The
later,
icebreaker's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have to like try to like bullshit at the bar or something.
Yeah, the awkward like, so like, what are you into?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like and plus
you just do it and record it.
Yeah, exactly. And and I kind of came in, and honestly, I'm kind of coming in a little bit blind with the interview today, because I remember when I had asked you to do it, you said you weren't on social media.
Yeah, I'm not on any social media.
You're not, and so that's it. Honestly, that's a very great research tool.
Oh man!
And so it's
you
like,
see how big the smile is on my face every time I get to say I'm not on social media?
Yeah, you did just perk up quite a bit.
Good luck.
I dig it. Yeah, I get it, man. So you should start like a website or something.
No. No.
But no. All right. Well, maybe one day. But
people can come to Lefties on Tuesdays. There's a 99% chance I'm here if they got something for me.
Okay, well, so that's one way you can see Mr. Mike Gettler.
Yeah.
If you're interested. Yeah. So, if you're like me and you know that we're living in a certain world, then if he decides to stick around in comedy, then I may start a petition for him to at least start a website or a blog at the least.
All right. Well, now you have to do it the old-fashioned way. You just have to ask me questions. What a terrible predicament to be in for your podcast.
See, if you'd just been an online presence, we wouldn't even have to be here.
Wouldn't even have to do that.
But yeah, man, this is but it's I think that can be I think that could be good in some ways, because it's like you can go right from the bones.
Happier than most people without the socials, and if
I don't blame
people like you actually have to have a conversation with me to figure out what's going on.
Right.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No.
I don't think it's a bad thing. No, it's definitely something that is harder for people to do.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Yeah, so like I think basically everybody under 25 somewhere on the spectrum now because of technology just being like forever. Like I came like halfway into my life,
Right, yeah. Yeah,
but
no,
I mean,
no
not
doubt.
really.
Yeah,
but,
no, I see what
it's
you're
people just
saying.
communicate differently. Like
They
my little
do.
brother's 23. He's 9 years younger than me. He'll be 24 next month. And even like we just communicate. Like we grew up together, so we can communicate, but it's still different.
Right. Yeah, definitely having that. Yeah, and that long familiarity helps immensely. Yeah, it's not the same.
Like hearing him call people friends, and I'm like, that's just a dude on your computer.
Yeah, you don't really know.
What do you mean friend?
Yeah, you don't know a whole lot about this guy, about this person.
If you haven't seen their feet, they can't be friends.
I mean, I even have friends that are just like making secret snaps for their feet, So it's
well, yeah, you got to see them in person, though.
Yeah, so it's
that's
it's
a
like,
rule.
it's just as much as they can avoid letting you see them in person.
Yeah,
they go for it.
Yeah.
So that is a big problem. And what's funny too is like I've always been open and willing to talk to people. I don't like I feel like this is common. I feel like it should be common, but I'm everything from like if we're hanging out. I'm like if we're hanging out in a group and like we're not actually doing anything, then obviously people are gonna like check their phones and do shit. But then then through the levels all the way up to like being on like a literal one-on-one date, you should not be on your phone if you're trying to be like. If you're like actually like on a date.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off.
Yeah, because it's like clearly you're not having fun. Should we just call it an end? Or
more importantly, like if that's like take a first date, the way that I'm gonna read that is, well, if you're not having fun, then we're just not having a second date anyway. No harm, no foul. But if it seems like we are having fun, then you lack the ability to like be in the moment.
Yeah.
And that would be a problem for me, because I don't know, that shit's important.
It is important.
Yeah.
That's how you actually like create that bond. Is like we can, you can tell because you can text or like DM someone as much as you want, but like you've never actually like physically communicated with them. There's a whole layer there that's not happening.
There's whole conversations I will refuse to have over text or email or any of that because you can't hear my tone, you can't see my face when I say it to you.
It's a bad idea to try to argue with someone.
And I'm super sarcastic, so.
And that's something that is typically difficult to pick up on in writing.
Hey, baby, let me save us both a world of hurt, and we just talk about this later.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame you there. That's a big challenge that I see in and just like the day to day. But that's also the difference I've noticed between because my focus before comedy was music. Like I've kind of taken a break, but I'm still doing this thing where I kind of work with musicians to try to help them get shows and stuff. Just because like never really made it to that point myself, so I'm like, well, I can help others. And so which is kind of bit which probably is the beginning of even coming to the to the idea of doing a podcast. And because I love origin stories and like hearing about how like all the shit people had to go through to even like get themselves to the point they're at, and so and even but then of course I know where I'm at, where like I'm typically having people in their like literally their beginning come on, but I think that's a lot of fun to know that like I could look back at these in like 10 years and be like, whoa, that guy's like selling out these places. It's not, you know, like
I thought you were just gonna stop at selling out. Now he's a piece of shit.
Now he's a piece of shit. Man, that guy really grew up to be a hell of a douchebag. I have blocked him on social media and removed his episodes.
And he still doesn't have it.
Yeah, he still doesn't have it. It's definitely one of those. It's definitely something that's like, it's optimistic for sure, but also, you know, Chappelle had to start at an open mic.
Yeah,
know?
man.
So that's the kind of thing that I have fun. That's the kind of idea that I have fun with. And right now, it's like, you know, people are still early in the idea of themselves, and so.
Well,
it's
and
I've interesting to hear him question.
I've only been in this scene for a year, and it's already changed and grown so much. You know.
Yeah, big time.
There's a lot of good things happening.
There is, yeah, definitely. Like when we were out, like just talking about the No Sleep show with AJ, he was like, with the.
That's fucking crazy, man.
It's insane. It sold out almost 400 people.
Yeah.
And at Woolies, and so it's like. And then talking to him, you know, he had this kind of attitude of like, you know, like, I'm not, you know, I've done some stuff, but like I don't know if it's like worthy of me being like interviewed for a podcast, and like, you know, it's like no, like not like that big. He downplayed all of it.
Yeah, that's AJ.
Which I respect. Which I then like retorted to him like I know that's like probably how you're thinking, but you know, and if anything, definitely let me the one that's like, oh, it's so awesome, and like and be the one that's like, whoa, and then you still be that one that's like, but it could be better, because it still needs that to be able to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, you know, it's like, obviously if people are loving it and having fun, and if you almost sold out the fucking well, I know if you did sell out the fucking venue, I don't know why I said almost, because I literally just said it. Then it's like you got nothing, like then it's like you got nothing to doubt. But if you're looking at like the heights it could still reach.
Oh, everybody has their way of drive, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of important things to take just from that No Sleep show. Like the reason that was at Woolies was because the social club shut down.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, this is a huge room. What do we do? Well, it's a new challenge, and what they did was rise and fill up that huge fucking room.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's just really good. And then AJ is a guy that he does a lot in terms of not even just for himself, just in trying to grow this scene and work at it. And everybody should be trying to do what they can for that, you know? Even if you're not doing shows or not on a show. Like, I have friends text me to see if I'm going up on a weekend. I'm like, nope, but so-and-so is, and they're a fucking killer. Go out.
Definitely.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I don't know.
No, that's good. No, that's a great mentality to have, that, like, it's because it's supportive to the other creators in the whole scene, you know?
Well, thinking of anything as comic is an individual, stand-up is an individual pursuit. But the only way the scene grows is if we kind of work as a unit in some form or fashion, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so even if, like, when I was brand new, I would still tell people about all the comedy shows when I would go out to the comedy shows, because I wasn't on any of the shows, but someday I would.
Right,
so I would like more people to be in, you know, like you're just investing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and that's a big thing that, like, people still talk about today, because, like, you know, just as an example, like, you know, say like I didn't know like Aziz Ansari. I remember I didn't know that he was like considered kind of an asshole until the whole scandal about him came out, because then people were talking about it. Well, then comedians were talking about it, and so like throughout the podcast I was listening to, they all had a comment to make on it, and it was all pretty majorative that, like, you know, he's pretty like pretty highly egoed, and he like doesn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But then like the scandal happened, and he started like pettying out to like get to like talk to other comedians like out of nowhere. Like this whole thing happened, so then he felt like people hated him. So then he started reaching out or like trying to talk to people. And so that's a big thing that like it sucks is you can still get to that point and be an asshole, but then you have no one to lean on. And so that's a good. And so like you said about investing. It's actually really great to just from the beginning, like if you can be a good person and you can get to know the scene, the locals or the scene or like the people that are on your level and then like show them the respect of like that I was where you were or you are like we're in the same place or whatever, then you're going to have, you know, the family to lean back on later. It's like, you know, you have the benefit of the doubt when it comes to when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's just that's like a, you know, it's one of the long-term things. But what like as far as the scene goes here, what is there anything kind of notably that while we're on it that you've seen notably change since you started that you kind of think about?
I mean, there's teehees.
Teehees,
that's a pretty big deal.
Right, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, the whole club opening, yeah.
A whole comedy club run by comedians.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big one.
It's awesome.
And there's people there all the time, which is great too.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. That's that's really great because I know that people know about the Funny Bone, but then I don't think they realize
Funny Bone's cool. No, yeah, I think I heard Sid put it really well once of that. That's like the iCubs of our comedy scene.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
exactly.
you need too. You know?
No, you definitely do. That's like
there's a lot of funny people in our scene, man.
There is.
Like I've seen shows with a bunch of out of town people and the locals sometimes
definitely
do better than the touring, you know.
That's true. That's very true. It's like that's very true. I try to go out to as many of the kind of local guy shows as I can. Like I wanted to go to Dan's like the shows that Dan's was opening. Dan's and I just couldn't make it out. But it's a lot of fun to see that kind of show, even if it's like they're opening for like someone who's more touring because it's like they're excited just to be there. So it's like such high energy.
Yep.
You know, it's like that really changes the game.
Yeah, it's a good mix. Yeah. It gives another stage and more stage time too, which that's the best way to improve. Which if there's one thing that we really lack here, it's a lack of stage time. Because, you know, bigger markets, LA, New York, you can get up on stage 5-6 times a night.
Yeah, that's
with different
true.
crowds and test your stuff out. So, like, I know a couple people have tricks or ways that they do it, but then you almost have to kind of find ways to get a joke to where it needs to be as quickly as possible, kind of. So
right, yeah. Little adjustments. Yeah, exactly. That's I think, but and that's really why it's so important that we have the whole the comedy club doing what it's doing because then they're putting on all the shows that can't just go on at like, you know, the Funny Bone or whatever. It's like stuff you have to actually put together. So that's the biggest benefit of having
getting
it.
10-15 minute sets is
that's huge.
That's a big deal. You can't really. I mean, you can go up and do 5-minute chunks separately and test them, but like shows present the other challenge of then trying to find the right structure and organization for your jokes.
Yeah, definitely.
And having more time to play gives you more chances of finding that.
Right.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Like a joke can be pretty good somewhere, but then you just move it somewhere else, and all of a sudden it pops even harder.
Yeah.
Or way worse.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. On Thursday last week, I did both Java Joe's and Teehees, but like at Java Joe's, I went up like at like a fairly decent time still. That I feel like it went pretty well. And then it came to Teehees, and I went up pretty late, and so like anyone who was at like a table was gone.
It was a weird night at Teehees anyway.
That was a weird night at Teehees, yeah. And like I went up after Tommy had to tell everyone to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and it
that's
got
a good time.
a little awkward.
Yeah.
And so that was
how long you been at it?
I think this month it will be. I think in February it'll be about 7-8 months. I've been doing. I think I was doing it since about August.
Yeah.
So that's so yeah. I am very amateur in the game.
We all are. Besides a few.
Right. Yeah.
It's a small handful of people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even those few that are more veteran into the Des Moines scene, you know, it's like you can usually tell just because of their confidence and their comfort in the whole thing. And yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah,
and,
that's stage time.
Yeah, that's stage time. That's stage time. It's something that would be great. That's obviously great to have more of. It would be really cool if if we had the kind of scene that would bustle enough for Des Moines to have multiple bars going on.
Yeah, you'd need like a big population for that.
Yeah.
But there's kind of, I don't know, like I usually like take a set through the week. And I make changes to it throughout.
Yeah.
And if it's clear that something just isn't ready or should just never be said again, it just goes away.
Yeah.
And then I'll like take a little time off of it and then bring it back and just kind of grind it out until I get it to where I think it's show ready.
Right.
And then when it's show ready, it can go into shows. It doesn't go at open mic nights anymore, but it's still getting worked.
Right.
Even though it's at like I don't stop writing those jokes because I mean, the set I've been doing, I haven't even really done it 10 times yet.
Yeah.
So, like, there's still a lot that can happen. There even just little tweaks and minor things. Like, I've added a couple more laugh lines into numerous jokes of the ones that are up there, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
just kind of find a process to make what we have work.
I agree. Yeah. And you got to work them out. That's even for that 5 minutes, you can do a lot of it. You can do a lot of variations on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got your first 5 yet?
Yeah, I got
Tight 5, not just 5 minutes of bullshit.
I do, but I'm not. But even then, I'm like, well, no, I probably really can't say I do too much. I've been like, I feel like I almost do. Like I've been running out. So I've been trying out a couple extra a couple other things that I'm trying to work into it.
Yeah.
And seeing how it goes and seeing how I can mix them up and seeing if I can, and then like I said, try to factor them into the original. So I got like probably three good, and then I'm like, and I'm trying to fit, and I gotta fill that extra 2 minutes, and so
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
good.
experiment with a couple stories to see. If
You
I can
write all
fill
the
it in.
time?
Yeah, I try to write something every day, even if it's like, even
Is
if
it okay
it's
if
like
I ask questions on this?
No, yeah, go for it. Yeah, if you got questions,
I don't
ask
care. We're
questions,
just
man.
talking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I said, we're kind of coming into it, not knowing too much about one another. So it's, any questions that come in your mind, feel free, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but so kind of it's I'm working on it. It's something that I like making. Like I had a friend kind of say like you make a comment of like, don't you think it'd be better if you like had a point? And we're like, well, I mean, I got 5 minutes to make a point.
Oh, I mean,
Which is a good amount of time.
the beauty of comedy is there's no rules. You don't have to have a point. You can, and there are a lot of for a lot of my jokes, there's an underlying point that I don't even directly talk about, but it's the point is sometimes why it's important to me to, even if it's just turned into a dumb joke, that's why it's important to me to talk about it. The point can be that.
Yeah. The joke is that it was even talked about or something, that kind of basis.
Yeah, because I mean, even if there's not a point, you should look like you care what you're talking about. Otherwise, what's the point of anybody else caring?
Gotta sell it.
So like talking about stuff that you care about could be the point, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And sometimes something's just fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like whatever.
Yeah. It's not too often you're gonna find a one-liner comedian with a point.
Yeah.
With an overlying point. You know?
Yeah.
It's all gonna be.
If
jokes.
you do a callback, with a one-liner comic, then you're just telling the same joke again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the fun. What's even funnier about that is it still works.
Yeah,
you know?
still
So
works.
still works.
Still works.
You know, you can even get everything from even just going up with the Notebook. It's like Dion Cole. I know he has a thing where I watched his Netflix special, and because I had seen him perform.
Yeah.
Where he was doing, I think he actually had one of like a 15-minute special on one of like the Netflix groupings where they do like 6 comedians for like 15 or whatever. Yep. But he's like I guess but this is what let me know he does it all the time, is that he takes out a little notepad and then he stands in front of the microphone and then he like looks at it and he like drops and he does like a certain position, he does like this look, and then he'll tell a joke.
This is
then
in the special?
This is in the special. And then this is like a little segment of it. So like for most videos running around, he's got the mic, it's just a set, and then he stops and he's like, and this part. And then and then he's got the little notebook and he'll tell a joke like, me and my friend thought that had heard that dipping cigarettes in cough syrup will get you high. it turns we did it, but we just got really tired. It was like it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then when the crowd laughs, it'll be like, and then like look at it and like make a note.
Yeah, make a little
and
note.
then when the crowd, and then if like the crowd doesn't laugh, he'll just be like, and then he'll then look and just like cross it out, or like, you know, just whatever. And so and then the crowd will laugh at him like crossing it out, because it's like, oh, that was a bad joke that didn't go well, and you know, they think that's funny, you know. And even when I was talking,
Well, that's just an open mic move.
yeah, it's a big.
That's
open
all
mic
that
move.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Make this funny before you tell it again.
Yeah, it's like you had to know that wasn't gonna get a laugh, and you were going for the fact that they were gonna laugh at you not getting a laugh.
It's just a save.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so
You chew ice into that?
hey, I accidentally choked too, but accidentally slipped in there.
Good,
and I
that's
was
what you
like-
get for chewing ice on a podcast.
Yeah, I deserved it. I was asking for it, so. Yeah, I do believe in karma occasionally.
Good.
That's and that was there was an instance of it for you folks. So we got it on mic. While I'm looking at Madonna with lights over her tits, and I think that's Madonna, but that's besides the point. So but yeah, no, we can. I was, and then actually, while I'm thinking about it, you said you got like you got a little music studio set up in your house. You said, yeah.
Yeah, my little second bedroom. Yeah.
Right on, man. Has that been something you've done your whole life?
Just came out of the womb with a Fender, you know. No, I've
that must have been hell.
played
for your
guitar
mom.
since like 11 or 12.
Right on.
So about 20 years now. And then like played in bands in high school, and then just got into recording for just as my own thing, my own little outlet, you know.
Right on.
Yeah, I
Did
just
it-
like making music.
Definitely. Did you see it possibly being your career pursuit at one point?
No, I had the parents that were very straightforward and like, yeah, no, you're not gonna.
I think that's what all good musicians have. Is the parents were like, and they were like, I'm gonna do it anyway, mom.
Yeah, no, I had a different path. I just like doing it and make music for myself and probably 4 other people, which I'm perfectly content and happy to do.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of private, you know, no social media,
Yeah.
and even my music, like 4 people have heard it.
Really? Huh. Wow.
Not that bad, but yeah, I don't know.
That's fun.
No real desire for accolades or anything, or
Right on.
shit talk either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. I think if you do feel like shit talk, you get comedy for that. And then there was. Yeah.
And then my high school band might be getting back together for a reunion. We got another
Oh, really?
practice on Sunday.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So
That's fun.
like 2 of those guys still playing bands in the scene.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
Cool. So like when you say reunion, you mean like you're gonna just kind of jam, maybe do a couple shows, or
Fucking
just
punk rock ghost from Christmas past, man. ready to go.
ready to get up and run
In her
you know?
30s now.
and ready to become Ghost Christmas Future.
Play songs we wrote when we were 16 for why? Mostly just to get back together again.
Right,
have fun,
exactly.
but-
So you have something to make fun of later and connect.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple guys from our scene about it, and I was like, yeah, you guys should come to that if we do that. And they're like, yeah, those roast jokes won't write themselves, so we'll definitely be there.
Hell yeah, man. That's they make a very good point, because
Yeah.
if you're playing songs when you're from 16, there's not a lot of things that people look back on them doing at 16 and think, you know, I wish I could go back to that.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm different than most people. You know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was an incredible 16-year-old.
Okay, wow.
And
Finally met one.
Just continue to follow that path, you know? It's my life.
I hit 16 and I knew there was no more up from here.
No, it continued to go up.
It went up even further, you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
wow.
Yeah. So.
So then, would you say that? I forgot what I was gonna say. So then, at 16, did you have a sweet 16? Did you have some kind
Like a
of
birthday?
kind of moment that you were like, this is, you know what, this is it?
Like I'm gonna die, or
No, okay.
What,
So,
what do you mean? Well, with music?
So like yeah, kind of like like when you're 16 and when you were playing in bands like actually well, even when you were
We opened
playing
for
in
My
bands,
Chemical Romance.
Did
at
you really?
House of Brex.
That's pretty
that was
dope.
pretty cool.
What? Yeah, how long ago was that?
I don't know. That would have been like 2004, maybe.
2004. Wow.
Like right before they exploded.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. So they were probably that was probably right before Black Parade or.
That was
I
before
think
the
that was
first
they went
album
out.
blew up.
That was
Black
before the
Parade
first
was the
album?
second album too. Yeah, those guys sucked. I didn't like them.
I couldn't speak for him in 2004, but I was a huge fan. But it wasn't until after Black Parade. I didn't even learn about it until after the Black Parade came out. So I think I learned about him in their peaks. I probably
Yeah,
helped.
but you were like 9 then.
I was pretty young. I was
Yeah.
in like middle school. Yeah, I was pretty young. So
Yeah.
that doesn't help. Yeah, I liked bad music.
You don't
in
start
general.
finding much until like later middle school and high school anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What you are musically.
Who are your musical inspirations? Like, who are you like, man? Like these
now
people.
or back then?
I guess we'll start with
It's
back then.
completely different.
Yeah, we'll start with back then.
My first favorite band was Van Halen.
Okay.
Loved Van Halen. Growing up with Dad, Eddie Van Halen. Still, just that guy is a master of
Right,
the
yeah.
guitar. And then I grew up in Southern California, so I got super into all the pop punk. So like Blink-182. I remember when Dookie came out and
Ooh.
Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
All those albums, those were huge for me.
You were in California, you said?
Yep.
Did you live there, or did you?
I lived there for like 8 years in that stretch.
Oh,
yeah.
right on.
So-
Where were you born originally?
Honolulu.
Honolulu. Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm a
dope.
military brat, so
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay,
from-
that explains it then.
from all over.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then did the emo phase kind of through early high school, so switching into like Death Cab for Cutie, Further Seems Forever. It was a local California
Right.
band, but Die Radio Die was amazing.
Yeah.
And then At the Drive-In is like a huge one. And then the Mars Volta came out, and I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this? And so, yeah, the Mars Volta, Radiohead, and Grizzly Bear are probably my favorite bands out there now.
Right on, man. So is that you say now?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's-
Yeah, definitely.
No, and Sigur Rós from Iceland would be up there, too. That's
Ooh.
probably the best. It's probably the best concert I've ever seen was them in
What was it called?
2006. Sigur Rós.
Sigros?
Yep.
How do you spell it?
Sigur space ROS. They're an
Oh.
Icelandic band. The guitarist Yancey does a lot of falsetto and plays the guitar with the cello bow and tons of heavy
Really?
delay, and it
Wow.
just sounds huge. Yeah.
That sounds like that
Check
does
out the
sound
album
interesting.
Talk if you want to have your life changed.
But we're all about life-changing things.
Yeah, lots of good albums from that one though.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that's cool. I always love a band where you gotta like I gotta ask for clarity on
Yeah.
the name. You know,
Yeah,
like
I think you kind of have to do that a lot now. There's like dollar signs and at symbols in everybody's fucking names.
yeah.
Well, there's no
yeah.
new words.
No, yeah. Every name has been used, and now they gotta start adding punctuation.
Even the Rats has been used. So now,
yeah, there's the Rats, Rat Pack, Ratatouille.
yeah, we
everything.
got them all. So
yeah, you can't.
that's the new way, is like using text language.
Yeah.
to do everything.
Yeah, there's like and like literally I was just listening to this today. There's a rapper who was already out called Baby, and then like Lil Baby blew up, and now Da Baby came along and then knocked him out, and then now it's like now there's gonna be someone that comes, and then there's Bad Baby, who like can't who
It just
is like
gives me a
popular.
headache.
Who there's too many fucking babies. Like there's
Yeah.
too many Lils, there's too many Bigs. There's like stop.
Well,
using
there
other
is an
people's shit.
argument to be made. I have heard the theory that you should come up with a name that is similar to something else that it could pop up when they're searching for that. And that's how you would start your
Right.
little click funnel and build yourself up.
Yeah, that's a good.
So
That's a great.
it doesn't
point.
have to be stealing someone's name, but like we were, my friend and I were talking about that and throwing around band names when, like a couple of years ago, and Fake News would have been a great band name
It
for
would
that
have been.
time period.
Hell yeah, it would have been. That would have been
Because
a
it
great
comes up
band name.
everywhere, but it's
Yeah.
not music, so that would have been a less
Yeah.
cheating fuck way to do it.
Right, yeah,
Slightly
actually.
less.
Yeah, oh yeah, slightly less. Yeah, but that's it.
And
that's
straight up
it.
stealing.
That's where parody is so rampant too, is in music for that exact point too. is that if you reference there's a lot of reference. There's a lot of like this makes you think of that.
Yeah.
So now you like it, and that's exact. And yeah, that's a very good point to be made. That you do that. So that's honestly exactly why they all do it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff out there where common sense doesn't exactly like your initial. Once you think about it more, you're like, oh, actually, the opposite is true of this probably. This is probably why they're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not a point a lot of people get to with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Especially not in front of other people. You know, that's something that you have to wrestle with yourself in private about a lot of times. But yeah, man, there's do you play any instruments?
Yeah, I play guitar.
Play guitar.
Play bass.
Right on, man.
I just program drums for the stuff that I record.
Yeah, me too.
With software. Because I am not talented enough to
takes-
separate every part of my body.
Plus, though, at the same time, recording drums is
That's
so
a
much.
whole, yeah.
Is so much because like
The room's too important for you to be able
Yeah.
to just do it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's
I
a lot.
don't know.
Yeah,
Got
I
a
don't blame you there. That's a necessary.
got a hard drive
move.
full of shit.
Well, you know what? This if you're the only one out of 5 people who has really heard it, then it is. I really got to take your word on it. So if you say it's shit,
Oh no, yeah. I don't know. I like it. I make it for myself though. Do a couple different styles, but
Right.
it's mostly just. I
Kinda
don't know.
just fucking
It's good to
around,
have a
but-
hobby.
yeah,
you know?
no, definitely. Yeah.
Like my dad's getting close to retirement, and I keep telling him, "You need a hobby, or you are going to go crazy."
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
lucky that I found my hobby super
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah, big
It's
time.
not something I have to find, you know.
Yeah, you gotta go and really you got a few things that you can just do. You know, like music. Like music is already you have that going clearly, and
Yeah.
then like comedy, and even comedy is like you know you
Well,
can
music
you just
and
do that for the
comedy's
fun.
music and comedy is exactly the same thing, like rhythm and pacing,
Yeah,
setups, and then subverting expectations. Like all the stuff that I do in music is the stuff that I try to translate to comedy.
Right.
Like I use a lot of open structures. Like I don't do intro, verse, chorus very much. I did that more on the last thing I worked on, but just to try it. But I like songs that never repeat themselves sometimes too, you know? Like I know the human mind is basically conditioned to just respond to essentially pop music because that's what you hear all the time.
True.
But I like the other stuff
yeah,
that's out there.
Yeah.
And like that's what you do with comedy too. You like sometimes I'll have an idea for a joke and I'll be like, well, actually, what's the opposite?
Right.
What is it funnier if there's like if it's the opposite?
Yeah.
You know.
You actually think about the other angles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually so important for a joke. I think. Well, at least a big joke, with obviously you know when we're talking about one-liners is very different.
Well, if you're
but,
one-liners, you even if you're a one-liner comic, you might have written 20 lines
Right.
to find the one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So
yeah.
you still do
Still
go
try it, yeah.
attack it from all the angles. I would
That's
say.
true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That definitely that does kind of that does defeat what I was saying. That's a good point.
I'm sorry.
I prefer to be right than you know whatever. So that works. I'll take the credit later.
But bigger jokes because you can even attack it from different angles in the same idea too.
Yeah, exactly. And there's because I've heard a lot of examples for jokes of like you know when they tell it like even from I've heard everything from like I changed this detail in a joke to like I changed the context of a joke, you know, and so it's like, or like I told it this way for so long, and then I told it slightly different 3 years later, and turned out I should have been doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
All the way to like I changed it from it being a boy dog, I instead of telling it the story as a girl dog, I told it as a boy dog, and like there's like literally so many little things that
I have
can
a joke
change an
where I
audience
changed.
opinion.
I had a joke where I changed the sex
Really?
in order, and it went from getting like just an O to getting laughs.
Ooh.
And like, and even the way that you tell it too.
Yeah.
Like I have a bit called The Wedding. I had a broken engagement.
Oh, okay.
And so I have this 4.5 minute chunk on this, and I would tell it, and it was so different room to room, but everybody would be paying attention and be into it. But I have all these laugh lines written, and nobody's laughing till the end.
Huh.
So, but I knew, like, I was building tension, but it was supposed to release at other times throughout
Right,
the joke.
yeah.
But I was way more deadpan back then, and I like have more energy when I brought more energy to the joke. Then it was just bam, it was hitting on all cylinders now. So
That's crazy.
I was like, well, I'm gonna keep the joke because everybody seems interested in it, but
Yeah.
it'd be cooler if you guys laughed. And, like, I worked hard on this joke.
Yeah, and that's exactly.
I
why
know
you keep
it's
doing
funny.
it. Right? That's exactly why you kept doing it.
Yeah,
You
because
thought-
some
you knew it was
rooms
funny.
that were cool with me being deadpan talking about a darker subject, they
Yeah.
would laugh at that.
Right?
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But and then if you bring more energy, sometimes it gives people permission to laugh. Like
yeah.
I have some other like darker, hard hitting jokes, and putting on a goofy grin on my face after I deliver the punchline is helpful.
Yeah.
It invites people to laugh.
Exactly. There's a big thing where comics, they sound kind of angry when they're performing, but then then they like break it and they laugh or something, and then like it lets the audience know that you're fake angry, you're joke angry, and then they laugh.
Yeah.
It's just these, and that's part of the those little details that you work out from doing it.
Yeah.
Because you literally have to do it to be like in front of people, to be able to know how people are responding, how to do it there from there on.
There's just a million things going on.
But it is a master comedian
so-
if you can, get all the rooms to laugh.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what. It's one tough part about Des Moines. There's only so many. Not even just the lack of rooms, but I mean the lack of diversity in rooms is difficult
Very
too.
true.
So it's tough to.
It's easy to fall into like a certain way of things.
You could murder here for 20 minutes and go to another state, and everybody would just look at you like you're a moron, maybe. You know?
That's possible. That's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I guess that is when, that's how I've heard comics describe it, as getting a joke to be bulletproof,
Right.
where it's just so undeniably good because you've worked it
Yeah, exactly.
all across.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Exactly. And that's really just the struggle of it is exactly like we said before, is that stage time. And, like, not only do you have to actually get up to work it out, but then like you don't know if it's gonna work everywhere unless you do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a very difficult point of working it out, because I think AJ was really making the point again. Like you can with guitar, like you can sit in your room and really basically master the whole thing in solitude.
Yeah.
But then like comedy, it's like you
Need a room full of people to
you can think
figure out if it works.
Exactly. You can think you're the funniest guy in the world, but if a room of 20 people doesn't laugh, then you can't be the judge of 7 billion people.
No.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, though.
It is.
Like, it sucks when you, like, really care about something and you go up there and everybody tells you your baby's ugly as shit.
Yeah.
But
I can't imagine that feels good.
yeah,
No.
like, I've got jokes that I still love.
How many
that
times have
I
people told you your baby's ugly as shit?
Usually a couple times every open mic night, at least.
I don't even know where they saw the pictures. I don't bring them out.
Lucky if they think
look-
1 or 2's cute. But
3 is a guaranteed flop.
yeah, well, I don't know.
no.
You learn stuff. Like, I find myself getting to quality much faster than I used to.
Right.
Just because knowing more about it a year later, like I used to write, like my set list used to be like 12 things, and I would go up and throw out like a little line here, a little line here, like mostly one-liners, and then
Yeah.
hopefully 1 or 2 would get something,
Yeah.
and then it would build up slowly that way. But now I do more chunks, so there's only like 3 or 4 things on my list when I go up there now.
Right. Yeah.
And fill up the same amount of time. Like, I think I'm telling technically 2 jokes tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because one of them's like 4.5 minutes long.
And
We'll
that's
see.
great, though. Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Makes shows a lot easier unless it
Yeah.
bombs at a show.
Oof, yeah.
But I mean, it's the first time I'm doing that, so that, I mean, if I don't add anything else to it and just take it from this, it's probably either gets thrown away and I never do it again, or it gets down to like 3.5 minutes maybe.
Right.
But
yeah.
you try out everything at the
Mhm.
beginning, I think.
Yeah.
Find out where it
That-
works, where it doesn't.
Yeah,
Make the
exactly.
changes and whittle away at it.
Whittle away.
Yeah.
Sit on the old porch with your old Swiss
Get-
Army knife and you
Get
whittle away.
whittling.
You take off the chunk by chunk until you got yourself a good pointy stick there, boy. And there's
Making recorders.
Like Grandpa's out there whittling again. I wonder what he's whittling today, and then you just hear. The fuck is going on out there?
Just a bad whistle.
Yeah, no, it's you gotta love bad recorder songs over a Street Fight or some shit. No, I started thinking of the Graham. They put they threw, if you're familiar with the Graham show, they threw up a thug fight like over top
Hood fight.
Hood fight. Yeah, they threw up a hood fight, and it was my bad. I wasn't even on the show. They threw up a hood fight.
Yeah, that was Friday,
and,
right?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It went good. I think it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Who won?
Xavier Jones. I
Okay.
think his last name is. He's
You shit with names.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
shit
all
with
right.
names. There's a lot of names to learn.
I am too. I just tell people when I introduce myself. Oh, I will forget your name probably.
Right.
So
Yeah.
please don't be
exactly,
insulted.
Yeah. I've introduced myself to No, it was Bradley Gilbert. I know his name now because like we're at the mics enough with each other. Like if you're at the mics regularly, like I got your name down.
Yeah.
But like if I've only interacted with you like 2 times, there's a good chance I'm like still getting it down. But and like I might have been with Xavier for that show, but it wasn't like I was like talking to him a lot.
Yeah.
You know. So but he was a really cool guy. He's really funny and you know and all that. And there was like Emily Feldkamp and then Dave Kilbride was the last minute put on.
Oh, nice.
He was fun. Yeah, so that was cool. That was cool that we got to do that show together.
Dave's a good dude.
He is a good dude. He made it a lot of fun.
I remember his first open mic night.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Did he bomb or
What
did
do I do? He might have gone up late and it'd have been dead anyway, so it's tough to understand if you truly bombed or not. But he seemed fairly comfortable on stage from the get go.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember that was a thing. I remember we were saying earlier, it's kind of like how you had like a lot of points on the thing, and now you kind of whittle it down. But I've noticed he kind of has that sort of thing. He's good at kind of like he tries to get like the idea, then kind of go on that for a little bit, and then But that's a bit. But honestly, though, that's a super cool thing that to be able to get to is when you can just tag something, or like continue that joke into like a more of a full almost like a mini story.
Yeah.
And it's like such a full rounded thing. So but obviously that can be really difficult to do. And like because even when I started, I had so many points on the sheet that it switched up so often from it being from like whether it be one liners or like set up and punch or whatever, and so I definitely had to have like my notes there because I was like had so much to try to remember.
Yeah.
But now it's I'm more like I'm trying to work on getting an idea and then doing points in that idea so that way it's easier, it's more on track and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on the joke, what the joke needs.
Right.
Like I've switched up my format. Like I have this book. And this is for bigger ideas. Like if I just have a one-line throw-off, I use Google Docs also. So like the bit tonight, I've been slowly collecting line by line, beat by beat, like ideas for this one premise. And then I took it to Google Docs, and that's when I organized it and started punching it up.
Right.
Of just adding the little jokes to make the whole thing go.
Definitely.
And then that's where my process of like, nope, this word's funnier than this word, you should use this one, don't need this, don't need that. That's where I do all that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Right on, man. Yeah, that's good to have like it's good. It is good to have a little system where you kind of separate it all and everything too.
Well, I like switching it up to like it's like putting pen to paper is a commitment. You can't just delete that shit. And so I like writing in different ways too.
Right. You write every day? I remember you'd ask
every
me.
Day.
I hadn't asked you that.
Every day. Something at least.
Right, yeah.
If I've got nothing, I'll do free writes. I've got like list of premises. I've got just
that's not a bad idea.
Stuff to go over. Some of my best jokes that I have now are from ideas that I wrote down a year ago.
Nice.
That had no idea what to do with because I was a moron.
Right,
and now I'm slightly less moronic, but still a moron.
Well, yeah. Anyway, there's you got to work your way out of that hole. You know, that's something I think. That it really this is part of that. That's kind of just the whole base of the product is you're just like working yourself up to be non-moronic, even if you're like silly and it sounds dumb. It's like you're doing it in such a calculated way at some point that it's like there's nothing dumb about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a big factor about a big factor of it. And, but I think that's also why you get people like Blowjob Lady, who I feel like she probably know. I feel like she's heard about it by now, but like, is just. Well, that's just really kind of perception. And I'm not saying she's dumb. I just think that I think she just does it for fun. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, so it's just
You can tell the people at the open mic nights who are out here just having fun, having a good time, which is
Right.
fine, and then the ones that view it as a craft and they're
Yeah.
trying to work at it. You know,
exactly, yeah. So it's like yeah, I've noticed that. So when you talk to people, it's like at some level at one level it feels moronic, but then when you actually
I just meant I'm a moron and I'm not good at this.
Yeah. Right, I'm trying. Yeah, hey, I was trying to make you feel better.
Yeah.
No,
My ego's fine.
Right, definitely. No, I would. Hey, shit, man. Like as private as you are, I would really hope so.
Yeah.
But but that's just to say, like, it's perspective, you know. Like it's like because like obviously at the beginning it really, you know, like even a year in, it's gonna definitely you're gonna feel moronic at the very least, because you're like, you're just so new.
Well,
you know?
there's so much to learn still that it's
Yeah.
hard to really, like, I'm comfortable on stage. I'm confident
Right.
in my sets.
You got good energy
I'm
up there, I know.
like, I'm good and all that, but I also know, like, I'm such a better comic than I was 3 months ago.
Right.
And there's so much to learn and so much more to do that 3 months from now I will be also. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, when I say I'm a moron, I just mean because there's too much to learn still.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or
That's
it could
something
all go
look
to
forward
shit,
to.
and I could not write another good joke, and everything will be done.
Right.
That
One
could
joke
happen
a
too.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I totally understand you, man.
A lot of
That's,
people say they 1 year is when they hit, like, and it's difficult to write. So that's
Right.
why I wrote as much as I fucking possibly could first year.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's actually switch gears off of that, and then kind of go. Now, I feel like we got a good cover and kind of
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the writing process.
What
kinda your
up?
opinion on how many like boy, and we can. I was curious about you know, your family. I know a lot of people have the stories of like, oh man, because like I've talked to a couple comics who are like, man, my family's so funny. Or they're like, my family thinks they're funny, you know. It's like it's usually kind of something that they find in their family that kind of was an early draw to them, that they got a sense of that kind of performance.
Yeah.
And then it later kind of transitioned into, you know, things like, obviously, you know, there's like school theater and like, you know, other kind of performance based things like school, like getting in a band and other things like that. So, like, would you say your family is funny, or do you think you're a bit of an outlier?
Yeah. My dad is goofy as shit.
Yeah.
So he's at his funniest when he doesn't realize he's being funny.
Right, yeah.
And my mom is a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
She can just like look at somebody and cut them down, you know. And I think I'm kind of a healthy
I love
balance
that.
between those two, you know.
A goofy assassin.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, family's pretty funny. Like to laugh. Very passive aggressive. So.
Is it kind of is it a pretty I guess a good way to put it would just be like, would you say it was a healthy family dynamic? Was there a lot of tension growing up that maybe a humor was coming into play to help cut? Or was it
No.
usually
I
pretty
mean,
light?
we liked funny movies and funny shit all the time. Everyone was always laughing.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. No, yeah, definitely. That's that's definitely the.
Yeah,
the
we're
more
Germans, so
positive
we were
outcome.
either laughing or screaming. You know.
Either laughing, and when
Yeah.
you're done screaming, well, you got it out of your system. So
Get
now
something
you
to
can
laugh about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, that's a good way to do it, though. 'Cause, you know, you definitely hear about people who are like, they learn to be funny because their families are always arguing, and so they you could diffuse the humor, the tension, or something.
Well, I moved
so.
around a lot. That's kind of where. Well, I wanted to be funny. I really
okay.
wanted to be funny, and
Oh,
so in middle school that meant quoting Austin Powers for like 3 years, which is not funny.
It's not funny, but
Not
references
at all.
help
But you
so
don't
much when you're
know
a
what
kid.
to do. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
And then my family moved me from California to here, and I was just sitting in the back of the room, not knowing anybody, and
Right.
and started being sarcastic and just like saying my own thoughts, you know,
Yeah.
and realized that that got people to laugh sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
and that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So there's a yeah, and so when so you said so yeah, I can definitely imagine that's a lot of big moves too. Like even to be born in Hawaii, and then was California where you went? Well, I guess like you obviously got kind of a gap there.
From
where you're like,
Hawaii
you're
to
not gonna-
California, from California to Iowa, from Iowa back to California, from California back to Iowa to California, Virginia, Japan. Like, yeah, I've
Japan
lived all
even.
over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is how old were you roughly?
Oh, I
when
joined the
you
Marine
Japan?
Corps after high school also.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
So
Is that
that
like
was
the-
the back to California after Iowa, the
okay.
third round, I
Gotcha.
think,
That
was
makes
that
sense.
was all me. So
Gotcha. Okay. Right on, man. Is your whole family kind of military, or is it like your dad is military based and like your mom?
I was a Marine. My little brother just got out of the Marine Corps. He
Oh,
did
really?
5.5 years.
Nice.
Dad did 20. My grandpa was in the Korean War. We got like 50 years just from his line. 50
wow.
years of service just there.
Damn.
And then mom was not military, but she says she did tours too, you know, being
Oh,
the
yeah.
military spouse. so-
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
And
definitely.
sent 2 sons, so she's done more service than some people in the military.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a great fucking point to be made because I even had I used to have a government teacher.
Sending your boys to 3 wars is it's
Oh,
a
that's-
sense of service in itself. I think. Yeah.
Oh God, there's volumes to be spoken for moms at that level, man. I
Yeah.
can't like that's the
It's
kind
tough.
of thing where if you actually try to imagine it, you can't. It's just like you don't have that connection, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because and just
Hopefully, no one ever has to.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can only hope, yeah. And just more and like I literally have had I've literally heard stories from Marines, like my history teacher, of him like doing a bunch of shit as like training or as punishment that was like insane for like part of that, but then like he never had to go to war.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like you never had to see action, and so it's like and
It's
so
still a tough, like,
Right.
even if there's no combat tours or anything, it's
Yeah.
still a tough, rigid world.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It is.
it,
It really is. Friend of
Probably
mine
like
went
what the
into
fuck?
it
I'm gonna
too,
get
yeah.
mad because people don't laugh at my joke in 5 minutes. It's been 2 wars. Fuck you guys. I don't give a shit.
You know, honestly, when you say that now, that I can only imagine that would help a ton with confidence.
Yeah,
On
I mean,
stage
we'll
telling
we'll
jokes, yeah.
just like I don't know, been to 2 of the worst places in the world. Like anything, even a bad day here's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, right.
So like,
Yeah.
all right, I can go write more jokes,
Right,
or you know,
Yeah.
like I had
Actually,
a
I heard a joke I think you might like on that premise
Okay.
because it has to do because like I think we've all heard that phrase of like people who like fishing will talk about how they'll say that like the worst day of fishing is better than the best day at work,
yeah.
and then the joke that was made about it was, do you think the guys from Deadliest Catch are like, at least we're fucking fishing, like like no, you know. And so it's a
Well,
but
once
it can also
something
be
becomes
perspective.
work, it does take some of the fun out.
It
As
does.
soon as it does. Like,
Very
I
much
can't
does,
wait.
yeah.
I can't wait for these kids making $5 million to play video games till they're like, I don't want to play video games anymore. I want to go outside. Told you.
I want to know what it's like to have friends.
Told you, moron.
Right? I want to kiss a girl for the first time, or a boy even. You know, you got a few of them out
Just
there.
want to kiss something
It's like-
that doesn't have a microchip in it.
Kiss something that wants me to kiss it, or them, and it might even kiss back.
Yes.
Less important though. No, but there was that's a very good point. Yeah, because even I think about it, like, because I used to spend like 12 hours. I used to literally have like an addiction to like Skyrim when it first came out, like the whole Saturday just in the basement.
Of course you do.
playing
That's why your whole
fucking Skyrim.
generation's useless.
We fucking suck.
No, I'm just kidding.
I hate us so much.
I'm so just kidding. With like drones and everything, you guys are gonna be so good at killing people overseas. It's just bred for it now.
Oh, the new soldier doesn't have to actually fight in war. They just have to see it. They just have to watch a screen.
You get PTSD from Nevada.
They're literally while sipping a smoothie, like, oh, fuck, like the equivalent of getting PTSD from playing BioShock. Oh God, yeah, it's definitely oh man, I have so many thoughts of where the future could go on that kind of, but on just with that where we are with all those things now that like I can't settle on one. That doesn't make me kind of anxious.
Well,
Like,
there's always anxiety in the unknown.
oh yeah. I'm also a very unnecessarily anxious person.
That's why
for
all
most
humans
things,
have
so.
it. Yeah, like I don't know, like my girlfriend, my best friends all have like crippling, not all the time, but of just moments of just terrible anxiety.
Yeah.
And I can only be empathetic, but I don't necessarily understand. Like I have times where I'm anxious or feel that, but it's not like a thing that I
Yeah.
have to deal with. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Best of luck to you guys.
Yeah, best of luck. For
Yeah,
sure,
I
yeah.
don't- I
I
don't-
but yeah, no, for
I
sure,
don't know, man. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Like, I don't have that. I'm pretty mellow and laid back most of
Yeah.
it. Like I think that's probably definitely the combination of the military side, but then like growing up in Southern California too, like I kind of do have some of that. Like everyone just chill, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
cool.
man. Yeah, I could like see it, and that, like I could see that too. And it's like, and it's the kind of thing people are gonna say that Californians are all like that, but it's like they kind of are. And especially at that time.
Well, when the
I can
weather's
imagine back then.
perfect every day, you
Yeah.
already got one big thing. Like it's pretty easy to wake up here and be like putting socks on, like fucking snow
Yeah,
again. You
yeah.
know.
You get real mad, and the time seems to take
Yeah, it's because
forever.
the weather's better. It really is like a huge difference. So
Yeah, big time. I've actually heard people say that time seems to pass by faster in California because it's like always the one season
yeah,
instead of it being like like
you don't have the breakup
like,
and the slog of winter.
Yeah.
And, you know,
you don't have like these like year markers where you're like every 3 months you're like
it changes a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I could that definitely makes sense. But yeah, there was so then I guess how old were you when you first left California, just as a gauge of when you first came to the Midwest?
Well, the first time would have been came to live with my grandparents when my dad went to Desert Storm, Desert Shield.
Oh wow.
So, and then when he came back, they put him on recruiting duty in Mason City. So I was here probably three and a half years
Oh wow.
for that period. And then that's when I moved out to California. So I say I grew up in California, became a man here in Iowa.
Became a man.
And then it was literally like freshman year. That freshman year of like the day I finished 8th grade, we got into a car and drove to Iowa. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like, okay, yeah, definitely. You're like right in that cusp of becoming a full teenager.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
right on.
like, kind of had the foundation and everything built out there and finished the house here.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So,
Right on, man. So then, so you're in the Marines. How long did you like from like beginning to end? Kind of what was the time frame that you did the Marines
5
for?
years to
5
the
years?
day.
5 years to the day.
That's how contracts
Oh,
work,
wow.
baby.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
June 24th. And then I have that memorized.
Yeah, fuck, I'd remember the day I was free.
Yeah.
I don't blame you there. So, did you say you'd seen 2 wars? Did you actually fight?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, because
we went. I went to.
never went to war.
Or
So-
I went to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep. Got a
Right on.
twofer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's really cool, man.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and the only reason I ask it like that is because I know, because like I even have a friend who like went to the Marines, but all he did was like the training, and then he traveled.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, so it's like
Must
but,
be
like,
nice.
No.
So my recruiter said, "No, I'm just kidding."
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was the kind of it's the kind of thing that kind of sparked my interest there.
Yeah.
'Cause
I don't know, man.
yeah,
Like I
that's,
came from a military family. I didn't join the Marine Corps to just hang out for 5 years. You know, I
Right,
I joined
yeah.
in 2005, right in the middle of 2 of those.
Wow. Yeah.
So like I knew what I was going to do.
Right.
I
yeah,
guess
definitely.
if that makes sense.
No, it
you
does,
know.
yeah.
I didn't join for
yeah.
college or and
Right.
there's nothing against anybody that
Yeah.
did that. I just came from a military family, spent my whole life around it.
Yeah, it's a more highly likability to get involved when you come from a military family for sure. Yeah. There's but just like the same way like family business works, you're just kind of like it's like when you're like involved in it your whole life, especially when you get to that age, you're kind of like I already have a feel for it.
Yep.
That sort of thing. So that makes sense. And
Yeah.
So then
getting yelled at, pretty normal.
Right, yeah, and I'm honestly very not well versed in how things work.
I used to think my dad was way funnier and way cleverer, and then the drill instructors were saying all the same shit he used to. And I'm like, oh, you just stole all that.
Turned out he stole all.
Dad's a hack.
I didn't find, but the worst part is I didn't find out till later in life.
Yeah.
It was like a false idol.
All those
down.
years.
I looked at everything, every way I had seen him before, then just crumbled in front of me. I could never look at him the same again. No, that's funny. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm very not well versed in that. So I was, but like,
yeah, you're an American.
Sure am.
Yeah.
Wait, you're an American.
Yeah.
But I take offense to that, Mister. No, but so when you went to Iraq and Afghanistan, kind of what was your position in the military? What I'm very
My rank or my job?
both. Very
well, rank changed. I left as a sergeant, and then I was an intelligence analyst.
Oh, really?
So
Nice.
yeah.
Right on, man. So then, when you were there, did you were there like, so and obviously it's a kind of thing that someone like me has a tendency to, probably based on news or just like not having any experience, like it's easy to imagine it being like this crazy war zone or whatever, you know. So
Okay, so the most important thing that people leave out of, probably part of the reason why Black Hawk Down is one of my favorite war movies, is most movies forget to explain in their narrative that it's also the most boring fucking thing on the planet.
Really?
Because there's not something happening every hour of every, like, there's nothing to do all the time. You want to go see a movie? Oh, can't. We're in fucking Afghanistan. Like, people leave out the fact that it's kind of boring as shit also, you know?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I guess
Like, everybody forgets that part, but
Right.
like they showed at the beginning of Black Hawk Down, 30 dudes huddled around a TV, nothing going on, and kind of bored, just wanting the next meal, you know? Which that's a lot of it too.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, shit happens. It's a
Right.
war, but
was there
like it's also really boring.
yeah. Were there some terrifying moments in there that really mixed up the experience for you?
Well, yeah, but it's a war.
Oh man.
You can go see movies for that shit. I'm gonna tell you, it's also boring.
Was it more boring than it is? So then, I blanked out on that one too. So then,
If war were how it's depicted in the movies, we wouldn't have any Americans left.
that's true.
If that's just
That's a
all
good
it
point,
was
yeah.
all the time.
Right,
We've been at it for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
So
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, terrible things happen, but
that's true.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I say because like I said, that's that's something that you really don't hear, because obviously when you hear about, because like I can imagine it being boring if you're like my teacher who was just there and just did the training, was just like smoking cigarettes, standing in place a lot of the time, like for a good majority of his time, and but then like definitely when you know that there's a war going on, it always seems like it's just mad chaos always. And so, but then again, that is probably how they sell the movies, is just like they know
There's
that the
moments
audience
of
wants
it.
them to have
Yeah, it's
you
gotta
know,
have shit going on all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the story moving. Right on, man. So
That's
then,
why most of them suck. Most war
I can see
movies
that.
suck.
Oh yeah. Well, I say that'll keep me from ever watching them.
Oh
no.
no, you can still watch them. You
No.
can tell, like 1917 was really good.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, you can. I don't know. It's weird. I can just like tell immediately if there was another one. I forget which. Was it Midway that they did a remake of, and they put it out on Veterans Day? That's clearly a
think
cheesy,
they did.
corny money grab.
Yeah.
1917 was actually just a legit good movie.
Right on.
Yeah.
That is a lot to be said too, because definitely if the war can be profited on outside of it, it's like the movies are going to do it by far. But like,
Yeah. Although I love hearing actors talk about how tough their boot camp was and stuff like that. I think that's adorable.
I can't imagine you that.
Oh, you're there for 2.5 weeks. And,
two-
I gotta,
They don't even
I
do-
gotta say,
Not even doing like a fucking third.
fuck you,
Dude,
How
yeah.
was your 5-star hotel later that night?
No kidding. Yeah, fucking Bear Grylls over here.
Getting a massage afterwards.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do too. They do try to make it out to seem like they had put themselves in the boots of the actual soldier themselves, and
I mean, their job is to act. Oh my God, is that Matt Jacobson?
Is Matt Jacobson here? What's up, Mr.
Is that Matt Jacobson?
There's a podcast going on back here. You want to say hi?
Is that Matt Jacobson or Indiana Jones?
You look like you're
What's up,
about.
buddy?
You look
It's hat day at the open mic.
hat day at the open mic, and so you were told to wear a hat, but were you gonna dress up as a 1940s lawyer before that?
I actually found out about hat day on the way here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just wearing
Is
this.
hat day a thing?
Yeah, it really is a thing.
Yeah.
Like-
I saw that earlier
If you
today
had
too.
Facebook, you'd know.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the issues of not being on social media.
Wait,
you don't
is
see
there
social
actual
events.
like themes every week to this thing that I've been coming to for a
Yes.
year?
Why do you think people dress weird to these things?
Oh
yeah.
man, I just thought it was because they were comedians and goth kids.
Yeah. Well, it's honestly, it's kind of what. It's what it's what happens when you put comedians and goth kids on blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's where were we? But yeah, no, yeah, it's
Yeah, we were
it is
war.
that-
That's where
we were on war. Yeah, so that's gotta love that. Gotta love that accent. Oh man. So then, did you have? So were there? So I guess out of the 5 long, boring years, were there? Would you say there was a lot of moments that it was like that shit hit the fan, or is it just kind of like every
What are you doing now? Next subject.
Okay,
You
whatever.
trying to
yeah.
like make me cry on a fucking podcast, Jordan?
Sorry, I want to get. I want to get to the deep.
Hey, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you? Let's talk about it. Well, Matt Jacobson laughs behind us in the booth there.
Oh shit. Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that's I don't want to make you cry.
No, you're good,
it would
man.
be great content though.
Yeah, would it
I
be?
mean, it would. You know,
That's
people,
good.
It's. I mean, why do you think they have so many people cry in the movies while we're watching? It's like you get that
that's
emotional
true.
connection. You know,
That's
you
true.
You see their true soul get bared.
There's true soul get bared.
All right. Yeah. But. Yeah. Well, okay. We can definitely move on from that. Let's see. We got. It's I can cut out the dead time, but because that was my next plan to go into that, but with so then with we'll go into music because I'm curious about this too. What like typically when people when they get real into music, they'll at least maybe try to sell some shit here and there. Have you ever thought about
Selling my stuff?
Yeah, you just like you can say because like you can submit it and then, it's like everything from jingles or whatever or whatever. You
mean-
you ever thought about doing anything in music, or is it something that you just like to keep to yourself?
I don't know, man. Like, I guess I wouldn't even really know how to do that. My problem is, like, I'll never be good enough at recording for me to feel comfortable putting anything to that level. I get better every time I go back and work on it.
Right.
But, because you learn more.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, for that, I would just keep recording the same 10 songs for the rest of my life until I got it. That's just the way that I am with that
Okay.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, I'm not like afraid to show it to people. It's good.
Right.
Or I like if you're into that sort of thing. Well,
Oh, yeah.
like you can listen to it and have it not be your thing and be like, oh, that's good quality.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I wouldn't even know how to make money with it.
Right. Yeah. That's
It's
kind of
cheaper than therapy.
Right. Yeah.
Or, no, I don't know.
Well,
Same
I
with
don't know.
comedy and music. Cheaper than therapy. you
Cheaper
know?
than therapy. Therapy is fucking expensive though, so it's
Sure it is.
yeah.
Never tried.
Yeah.
I just scream into my pillow.
It's just what I've heard,
Yeah.
but no, I tried it and it can get pricey, which is why I'm not doing it now. But
And now I do stand up.
Now you stand up. Yep. And
There
so,
it is.
yeah, man. I guess let's end on let's just end on the topic of what you plan to do from here.
What I plan to do from here?
Yeah,
All right.
to-
With what? Comedy, life.
How's it going? Yeah. So I mean, obviously you're doing comedy now. You're coming to the open mics. You're getting on shows. You're doing it frequently. Is this something you could see yourself pursuing as more of like a full-time gig, or do you think it'll be something you kind of just do for this?
Listen,
for the time?
I started last year at 32, which is a little late. If I was younger, maybe I would think about going somewhere.
Right.
But I just love doing it, and my goal is to be here in Des Moines try to be good at it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it'd be cool if you could supplement your income doing that.
Right.
And then also just do what I can to grow the Des Moines comedy scene.
Right. Definitely.
Maybe so for the next group, you know,
definitely.
kids that start young and don't wait forever. You know,
Yeah,
which,
exactly.
if you're old, you can do comedy too. That's what I do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man.
Right on.
Just,
What do you do? What do you do now, by the way?
like
as,
for work?
as a job, yeah.
Yeah, I advertising sales.
Advertising sales.
Yep.
Okay, so that can actually be helpful too. If you know, if at one point you decided to get into, at least you know, kind of, at least you have a familiarity in the in advertising. So,
Yep.
yeah, that definitely helps. Yeah, and then and then you got music talent. You can make your own jingles. So, so you got so you got that going for you.
Yeah, I got all my bases covered there.
Right. Yeah. Is that it's something you enjoy doing? Is like the whole advertising aspect? Is it like you kind of. Could you see it? Is that kind of the industry? Well, I guess like kind of you see yourself kind of working in your industry.
Sales also seems to be the industry that wants me most. So that's part
that
of it.
That helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, I like it. It's good. I mean, I gotta have a balance and
definitely.
don't have to sit in a cubicle all
Right.
day.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes, but
yeah, definitely.
then I go out. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it is and it's definitely the kind of job that gives like you know, it's like let's say 10 years down the line, you're like still in the comedy scene or whatever. You know, it's the kind of thing that, you know, if it like that really could help grow can help grow a scene, like having that familiarity
I meet a lot of business owners and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's like if at the very end, if you know, if all else failed, if you just wanted to work, you could do your own thing and just work on making a scene bigger. And so that's just a whole other thing to that comes with it. But
also a thing really important for me this year is promoting Matt Jacobson as much as I can. He's a really important person to me.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
And so
he's not even listening to you right
now.
No,
he heard his name and came back in immediately. He was just being real quiet so he could make sure you didn't miss anything.
Right, yeah, exactly. He's just eavesdropping.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, working its work and getting after it.
Yeah, but it's you know, honestly.
Hi, Cody.
What's up, Cody?
Everybody's starting to come for the open mic.
Are,
people are starting to trickle in for the
Yep.
open mic night. If you're wondering why we keep saying hi to people,
greeting the other comics. But and honestly, I have the kind of thought, like, I wish I could find myself the mentality where I can be in something that I'm doing it. Like, I know I can live off it, and then I could pursue fun things. You know, but then I know my brain well enough. Like, even if I'm doing something I like doing, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna still have some pretty massive anxiety that like makes me feel that, you know, is gonna gonna take me back out of it. But no, I like it. Like that's I always got respect for just like that mentality of like I'm doing this thing, but then like I can do these artistic things for fun, fills me up. You know, like it's just it sounds like. It just sounds like like a good way to be if you can get into that swing.
Yeah.
You know
I think I heard someone else break it down that I'm here because I just love comedy.
Right.
I don't need comedy necessarily. I guess it's kind of what we're saying there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's that's another point to be made, is that you got to have the love to do it in the first place. So. Yeah,
Hi, Dan.
Motivation. Hi, Dan. So do you got any are you on any shows coming up? You got any events coming up that you want to drop while we're here?
I don't think I have anything particularly coming up right away. March 4th in Ankeny. Got a show up there.
Got a show up there?
Yeah.
Where at?
Mistress.
Yep. Right on. Cool. And then like you said earlier, it's a 99% chance you can catch them at the Lefties open mic on Tuesdays.
Yeah, I think I've missed like 2 in a year.
Yeah, so that's
maybe
where
3.
we're recording we are recording from right now.
So if you have any questions for me, don't DM me, or actually do a real DM and direct message me in person.
Yeah, it's see what and try it out. You know, it's probably something you haven't done in actual life. So
yeah, talk to a fucking person.
Yeah,
be cool.
Make Mike Gettler that first person.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a real nice guy. I feel like we had a good conversation.
Whoop,
Learned a lot
thanks,
about
Jordan.
him. Thank you so much, Mike, for being on here.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. And yeah, you can follow us on all social media. They Came From the Underground, and TCFTU podcast on Twitter. And other than that, we will catch you next week, guys. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
That wasn't thunder, bitch, that was me speaking. It's safe to say I found my place, and nowadays my life is great. Sub the love out for the hate, I'm booked to shows in different states. One thing I don't test is fate, cause that's some shit you can't escape. Got a lot up on my plate and learned that most these streets are fake. Now I'ma go get it, I'm vivid and intricate, killing shit, feeling this militant. Know that they feeling it, been on my krillin' shit, I'm just too diligent, I'ma go in again. Don't fuck with a nuisance, I'm stupid, nah please don't do it. I'm sipping on this fluid, it's vodka and some sewage. I'm brutal, I cause contusions, I'm doomed in my dreams are lucid. Consumed by the fear of losing, my moons are just illusions. Let's go. I dabble in the dark, just don't want me to spark it. Magician needs assistance to witness to all this carnage. Bar after bar, I'm by far the hardest. Scar, son of Mars, the god of words, a tyrant. Yeah, bitch.